Yo guys, what is going on? JPS back from another video, and today we're going to be watching the Prime Minister warning of grim days ahead for Ukraine. So usually I don't do content like this. I don't really react to current events and stuff, but I thought this was important since it's being talked about literally everywhere. As you know, Russia invaded Ukraine, I think last week, maybe a bit earlier, but that's when all the news started covering it. So I thought I would react to this because I know it's affecting different places differently. So I wanted to see how it's been affecting the UK so far and kind of just see the Prime Minister's remarks. So we don't want to get too overly political because I know this guy is very controversial. A lot of you have a bunch of different things to say about him, and that's completely fine. But I wanted to just watch this, and really this video is kind of just a platform for you guys to comment down below what you think of the situation. I've never seen a situation where so many people are on the same side, like agreeing that Russia's actions are just not, they're just terrible. Like, I don't think there's many people who disagree with that. I think people are disagreeing about what should be the next steps to kind of stop them and help Ukraine. But I guess if you want to comment anything, comment what you think we should do as a whole, because obviously United States, United Kingdom, and a bunch of other countries kind of stand together in trying to keep world peace. So anyways, I'm just gonna watch this real quick and we'll see what he has to say. I actually haven't heard Boris Johnson's voice ever. Like, I've literally never watched a video with him.
Some awful images, apartment blocks hit, civilians covered in blood. Are we doing enough to help Ukraine?
I've just come off the phone again to President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine, and let's be in no doubt, things are not going all the way of President Putin. Very far from it. The Ukrainians are fighting heroically and in some places with great success, as many of us thought they would, because they're a great country and a very brave country. But as you rightly point out, there are some terrible atrocities being committed, and there will be some very grim days ahead for Ukraine. We've got to do everything we can to change the heavy odds that Ukraine faces and to help them. And so that's why we're sending humanitarian supplies, we're sending financial supplies and military supplies as well. I think it's very important that we do that. The UK was the first European country to send military aid to Ukraine. Last night, many other countries joined in pledging to send military assistance. You're starting to see that grow. What we need to do now, and you ask, should we do more? The answer is yes, and we need to make sure that we apply those much tougher economic sanctions, including SWIFT. And what's starting to happen is that the horror of what is unfolding in Ukraine is becoming clear to Western audiences, and that is in turn putting huge pressure on Western politicians. We've got to act together, and we've got to do more.
Why aren't we taking refugees like some other countries?
Of course we're going to take refugees. This country's had a historic and proud role in taking refugees from all conflicts. And if you think what we did in Afghanistan, for instance, the UK was way out in front. I'm aware that there's some fake news on the internet about that, and I really want to knock that on the head. The UK is way out in front in our willingness to help with refugees. We've sent 1,000 troops to the theatre to be ready to help with the influx, and of course we will help people fleeing in fear of their lives.
Do you think diplomacy is dead now? Should we face facts that all the diplomacy that was done by Europe seemingly has had little effect?
I think we have to face the hideous reality that the diplomacy, as far as President Putin was concerned, was a charade. He never really intended to alter his course. You read the article that he wrote many months ago. It was clear that he's attached to a weird, semi-mystical view of Ukraine as part of Russia, and that is a view that the Ukrainian people fervently, passionately reject, and they're showing that they will fight to reject it Our job now is to help them, to help change the very heavy odds that they face, and that's why we're sending the support that we are.
You mentioned SWIFT. Do we need to do more to push other countries to ban Russia from the SWIFT banking system?
I think that what you've seen just today is more countries joining the call of the UK to use SWIFT. SWIFT is the mechanism that stops people making payments to Vladimir Putin's Russia. It's incredibly important for tightening the ligature, the economic ligature around the Putin regime. And today you've seen more and more countries, France and others, coming forward to say that they will not block a banning, a boycott of SWIFT.
Let me ask you about sporting connections now. Poland and Sweden's football teams are refusing to play Russia in the World Cup playoffs. Should we be breaking off our sporting connections?
I think it's inconceivable to imagine that, I mean, it's a sad thing, because I don't think we've had a situation like this for a very, very long time. But it's inconceivable to me to imagine that normal sporting relations with Putin's Russia can continue.
And is it frustrating that some countries like China abstained rather than voting to condemn this illegal invasion at the UN Security Council?
I think what you're seeing today and over the last few hours is a sense around the world that this is a horror that they simply hadn't expected. And I think that feeling is strong and growing, not just in countries that have in the middle ground, but in Russia itself. You're starting to see that feeling that this is something unconscionable. So I think that in countries that have been apathetic on this issue so far, a sense of outrage and disgust is growing at what the Putin regime is doing in Ukraine. In the meantime, the UK is going to do everything we can to help and support our friends in Ukraine.
Okay. I see what he did there at the end. He didn't really, that was actually a really good way to not get too controversial with what China, or the lack of what China has said, because he doesn't want to anger them. So that was smart, but on his part, as a politician, your whole goal is to evade questions. But overall, I definitely agree with what he was saying throughout this. Let me know what you think about his remarks. I know he's made a bunch of other statements. I was just scrolling through on YouTube, but this one seemed like it had the most views, so I thought I'll click this. But yeah, that's basically that for that. Comment down below how you're being affected by this, whether you know any people in Ukraine. Hopefully we don't have any viewers in Ukraine. That would be very unfortunate, but comparatively the effects are so minuscule, but we act like they're such a big deal. Like here, gas prices have shot up, but compared to what people in Ukraine are dealing with, that's nothing. So yeah, I think our gas prices went up, I don't know, 20 cents. Let me know what it's like there, because I heard the gas prices are really going up in the UK, but I'd like to know maybe how much it is in your area. I think you go by liters, but maybe how much it is and versus how much it was a couple months ago. I don't know. Anyways, hopefully this situation gets a little better. It's been going on for 10 days, and this man has not showed any signs of stopping. But it's good to see that all the countries are coming together to try and give Ukraine some resources to defend itself, because obviously Ukraine alone against Russia stands not much of a chance, because Russia is enormous. But I actually heard that Germany actually supplied Ukraine with a bunch of tanks, I think, or something like that. So seems like everyone's stepping in. Obviously there's some countries that don't. Apparently China doesn't care, but I don't think China really cares about much these days. Anyways, I'm not planning on taking this channel to be a straight news channel. I just thought that this was something that's very relevant right now. So yeah, anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.